But before we look too far ahead for Arsenal, let's just take a moment to reflect on where they are.
4 goals in 27 minutes. That's how Arsenal dismantled Wigan Athletic at the Emirates.
That's a lovely ball from Eze to Madueke!
Fast, clinical, and almost unfair. But this wasn't about one FA Cup tie. It was another reminder of something far bigger.
He found solutions in the final third. Options. Eze as well, that improvement. Jesus, the quality of his finishing. And then goals for Martinelli as well is really important. He knows that the final third, these guys have to be filled with confidence going into the remaining fixtures of the season.
All season, Arsenal have been accused of being mechanical, too structured, too reliant on set pieces, too predictable. And yet, they keep scoring.
Headed away. What a strike! What a goal!
They've turned corners into weapons, turned second balls into chaos, turned wide isolation into inevitability. And now, with Eberechi Eze pulling the strings from the left, the attack looks even more layered than before. Critics say it's system-driven. Opponents say it's suffocating. The numbers say it's one of the most productive attacks in Europe. So here's the real question. Are Arsenal just efficient this season? Or are we watching the most complete attacking structure of the Arteta era take shape in 2025-26? This is why this version of Arsenal might be far more dangerous than people want to admit. Strip away the noise and look at the output. In 2025-26, Arsenal aren't just scoring, they're sustaining attacking pressure across competitions. In the league, they sit among the top scorers, and more importantly, among the leaders in expected goals and big chances created. That tells you something crucial. This isn't finishing variance. The volume and quality of chances are both elite. Across all competitions, Arsenal have already crossed the 70-goal mark before the decisive spring run-in. Their XG profile backs it up. They consistently generate high-value shots inside the box rather than relying on speculative efforts. And then there's the statistic critics can't ignore. 24 set-piece goals in all competitions, the highest total across Europe's top 5 leagues. That's not accidental, it's structural. Corner routines are choreographed. Blockers at the near post, delayed runners attacking the penalty spot, second phase shooters stationed at the edge. When the first ball doesn't go in, Arsenal dominate the second contact. When the clearance drops, they're already positioned to strike again. That's why the set-piece merchants label doesn't quite land. Being elite at restarts isn't a weakness. It's a competitive advantage. But if that was all Arsenal did, they wouldn't be this hard to stop. This is where it gets uncomfortable for opponents. Arsenal don't rely on one pattern. They repeat several. Everything starts with Bukayo Saka on the right. He holds width, isolates, forces 2 defenders to lean toward him. That gravitational pull creates interior space for Martin Ødegaard, who rotates between the half space and the touchline, manipulating angles. Behind them, Ben White, but most times Timber, times their movements, sometimes underlapping into the channel, sometimes overlapping to stretch the line. The rotation is fluid, but the objective is consistent. Overload the right half space and force a defensive collapse. When that collapse happens, Arsenal either cut back inside or switch the point of attack. On the opposite flank, it's less about gravity and more about acceleration. Gabriel Martinelli attacks vertically, his runs pinning fullbacks and dragging center-backs wider than they want to go. If Riccardo Calafiori overlaps, Martinelli narrows. If he inverts, the lane opens. That constant movement destabilizes defensive shape. And then there's Eberechi Eze, operating from the inside left channel, receiving on the half-turn, carrying diagonally, splitting lines with disguised passes. When he plays as the left 8, Arsenal gain a different rhythm, more glide, more unpredictability. When the ball enters the final third, Arsenal commit numbers. Declan Rice arrives late, not early enough to be tracked, not late enough to miss the moment. Up front, Kai Havertz or Victor Gyökeres pin center-backs physically, occupying both markers to create shooting lanes behind them. Meanwhile, the weak side winger crashes the far post. Arsenal rarely attack with just one runner. They attack with layers. The hidden reason this works? William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. Because they can defend large spaces behind the ball, Arsenal commit numbers forward without fear. Sustained pressure becomes possible. Second phases become dangerous. Opponents can't counter cleanly, which means Arsenal can attack again and again. This isn't chaos football. It's engineered aggression. And when a team can score from structure, from transition, and from restarts, you're not looking at a streak. You're looking at a system that travels. The Wigan game wasn't just comfortable, it was instructive. Eberechi Eze recorded 2 assists, both different, both decisive. First reception in central traffic, shift of body weight, and a line-breaking pass into space for Noni Madueke. Not hopeful, measured. Second, a disguised slip pass into the inside left channel for Gabriel Martinelli. Timing perfect, weight perfect. That performance sharpened a debate that's been simmering all season. Where is Eberechi Eze best? The evidence is leaning toward one answer. As the left number 8, Eze receives on his stronger carrying angle, moving diagonally from inside left toward the center. That trajectory maximizes three things: carry angle, so he can glide inside rather than being forced wide; disguised passing, where his body shape opens passing lanes across the pitch; and rhythm control, where he slows or accelerates tempo without losing territory. When he plays RCM, the passing angles tighten. When he plays LW, he loses central influence. But there's nuance. Against elite opponents, the LCM role can expose rest defense if spacing isn't disciplined. Arteta sometimes prefers a more conservative profile there to protect transitions. Against deep blocks, Eze at left 8 adds unpredictability. Against transition-heavy sides, control might trump flair. It's not just about where he's most expressive, it's about where he makes the structure more dangerous. This isn't a one-man system, it's layered. Bukayo Saka remains the gravitational force, defenders shade toward him automatically, creating space elsewhere. Gabriel Martinelli is the vertical blade, devastating in transition, ruthless attacking the far post. Martin Ødegaard manipulates tempo between lines, deciding when Arsenal accelerate and when they suffocate. Declan Rice brings dual value, defensive insurance and second phase chaos when the ball drops. Kai Havertz doesn't always dominate highlight reels, but he drags center backs, opens half spaces, and creates corridors others attack. Victor Gyökeres offers directness, runs behind physical pinning, a line-stretching threat. Leandro Trossard is the game state technician, capable of slowing matches or punishing tired legs. Madueke is a pure 1v1 destroyer who commits defenders when isolated. And Gabriel Jesus remains vital, pressing from the front, linking phases, destabilizing center backs with movement rather than size. Add to that the reality, Calafiori fitness concerns, Ben White managing minutes, minor knocks across the squad, Saka even deployed as a right-sided midfielder in the Wigan tie due to last-minute reshuffles. Yet the output doesn't collapse. That's not luck, that's a system absorbing stress. Arsenal aren't just scoring, they're building momentum across every front. In the new Champions League phase, Arsenal finished first overall with an 8-0-0 record, 24 points, and a plus 19 goal difference. That matters because it bought them the best kind of advantage: space. No playoff chaos in February, just recovery, rhythm, and preparation, while other teams fight for survival. Their round of 16 opponent won't be confirmed until the 27th of February draw, but the pathway is defined. They'll face the winner of a playoff tie from the Atalanta/Dortmund or Leverkusen/Olympiacos bracket. Arsenal are also heading to Wembley for the Carabao Cup final against Manchester City on Sunday, the 22nd of March 2006 at 4:30 p.m. That's the kind of match where set pieces stop being a meme and become a weapon, because finals are decided by margins. Today's 4-0 over Wigan pushed Arsenal into the FA Cup 5th round, their first time reaching that stage since 2020. It's easy to call Arsenal ruthless, but the scarier thought? What happens when Eze fully adapts and the left 8 becomes a permanent chance creation lane? When Saka hits peak form and the right side gravity becomes unavoidable, when Ødegaard stays fully fit and the tempo stops stuttering, and the set pieces keep landing the way they've landed all season. Because if this is Arsenal in February, the ceiling might still be coming.